Imagine being able to stay calm and composed no matter what life throws your way. Whether you're stuck in the chaos of a traffic jam, having a tense conversation with your boss, or dealing with a deeply personal crisis, you could face all these situations with peace and clarity. That's the power of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that has been guiding people for centuries toward more fulfilling and tranquil lives. The Stoics understood something crucial. While we can't control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. In this video, we'll explore 10 timeless Stoic lessons that will help you develop inner peace, emotional resilience, and personal strength. Whether you're facing stress, uncertainty, or adversity, these principles passed down by the great Stoic philosophers Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius can guide you to lead a life marked by virtue, tranquility, and wisdom. If you're ready to learn how to handle life's challenges with more grace and calmness, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and let's begin this journey of self-discovery. Lesson number 1. Focus on what you can control. One of the foundational teachings of Stoicism is the recognition that there are things in life we can control, and there are things we cannot. This lesson comes directly from the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who in his Enchiridion says, "Some things are in our control and others not." What can we control? Our thoughts, actions, and responses fall firmly under our control. For example, if you're preparing for a big presentation at work, the outcome, whether you win over your audience or not, is not fully within your control. What you can control is how much effort you put into preparing, how you choose to react to unexpected challenges, and how you manage your emotions during the process. Imagine you're a professional athlete preparing for a major game. You can control how well you train, how disciplined you are in following a routine, and how you manage your mental state. What you can't control is the weather on game day, how the opposing team plays, or unforeseen circumstances like an injury. By focusing on what you can control, you avoid wasting energy on things beyond your influence, allowing you to stay grounded and calm. One of the greatest sources of anxiety and stress in life comes from trying to control things that are, by their nature, uncontrollable. By shifting our focus away from these external concerns, we free ourselves from needless worry and can put our energy into things that matter. Consider how much time you might spend worrying about other people's opinions of you. This is a perfect example of something that's out of your control. You can't change how people think, but you can change how you respond to criticism or feedback. Psychologists today often refer to this mindset as having an internal locus of control. People with an internal locus of control tend to be more resilient, proactive, and emotionally stable. In contrast, those who focus excessively on things outside their control, such as external validation or uncontrollable events, often experience anxiety, frustration, and helplessness. Lesson number 2. Practice negative visualization. The Stoic practice of negative visualization, or premeditatio malorum, is one of the most profound tools for emotional resilience. While it may sound counterintuitive, negative visualization isn't about being pessimistic. Instead, it's about preparing your mind for potential difficulties, allowing you to handle setbacks with composure and grace. What is negative visualization? Negative visualization involves imagining possible negative outcomes before they happen. It's a mental exercise that prepares you for life's inevitable challenges. This doesn't mean dwelling on misfortune, but rather accepting the possibility of it. When we accept that things can and will go wrong, we're less likely to be emotionally blindsided when they do. Think of a student preparing for an important exam. Through negative visualization, the student can imagine scenarios where they fail the exam or face unexpected challenges, such as not understanding certain questions. This prepares them to stay calm and think clearly if things don't go as planned. By practicing negative visualization, we build an emotional buffer. When life throws an unexpected curveball, whether it's losing a job, a relationship ending, or even something as minor as missing a bus, we're mentally prepared. We've already imagined these scenarios and have prepared our minds to handle them. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often reflected on the importance of expecting difficulty. Begin each day by telling yourself, "Today I shall be meeting with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness, all of them due to the offender's ignorance of what is good or evil." Think of your daily life. What are some potential challenges you might face? By incorporating negative visualization into your routine, you'll find that fewer things catch you off guard. You become mentally fortified, ready to handle life's disruptions with poise. Lesson number 3, the power of perception. Perception is a core theme in Stoic thought. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, eloquently said, "Our life is what our thoughts make it." This is perhaps one of the most important lessons in Stoicism, the realization that nothing in life is inherently good or bad, but our judgment makes it so. Understanding perception. The same event can be viewed in multiple ways, depending on our mindset. For example, losing a job might be seen as a catastrophic event by one person, but another might view it as an opportunity to pursue a new career path or spend more time with family. The event itself hasn't changed, but the way we interpret it alters our experience. Consider two people stuck in traffic. One person might feel enraged, thinking about the time they're wasting. The other might accept the situation, realizing that they have no control over the traffic, and instead use the time to listen to a podcast or relax. Changing your perspective. Stoicism teaches that we can always choose how we perceive events. This is what gives us power. Even in the face of adversity, we can reframe our thoughts to focus on the lessons or opportunities within the situation. This doesn't mean being in denial about difficulties. It's about seeing challenges for what they are and choosing a perspective that empowers us. When Marcus Aurelius wrote his Meditations, he was dealing with constant political pressure, wars, and personal losses. Yet, his writings reflect a man who, despite the overwhelming circumstances, remained calm and composed simply by mastering his perception of events. Lesson number 4, accept impermanence. Life is in constant motion. This idea is beautifully captured in Marcus Aurelius's Meditations when he reflects on the impermanence of all things. Observe how all things are continually being born of change. Teach yourself to see that nature loves nothing so much as to change. Everything around us, our relationships, our possessions, our physical bodies, is subject to change. The Stoics remind us that resisting this truth only leads to suffering. Instead, we should embrace change, recognizing that it's a fundamental aspect of life. Think of a time when you held on to something or someone too tightly, only to experience pain when that person or thing inevitably changed or left. By understanding the transient nature of everything, we learn to let go and find peace in the present moment. In today's fast-paced world, where everything seems to be changing, whether it's technology, careers, or relationships, Stoicism's teaching on impermanence is particularly relevant. When we accept the transitory nature of life, we reduce our attachment to outcomes and focus more on the present. Marcus Aurelius wasn't just a philosopher. He was also an emperor facing immense political upheaval, family betrayal, and personal losses. Despite all of this, his reflections consistently return to the impermanence of life, encouraging a mindset that embraces change rather than resists it. Lesson number 5, the perils of unbridled longing. Seneca, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, devoted much of his writings to the dangers of excessive desires. In today's consumer-driven world, where success is often equated with the accumulation of wealth, fame, and possessions, Seneca's warning is more relevant than ever. Seneca, echoing a core Stoic sentiment, warned about the dangers of excessive desires. The pursuit of wealth, status, and material possessions beyond what is necessary often leads to discontent. True contentment, Seneca reminds us, dwells in the simplicity of limited desires. Seneca believed that our desires for wealth, status, and material possessions often distract us from living a life of virtue. True contentment, he argued, comes not from getting more but from wanting less. The more we pursue these external goals, the more we tie our happiness to things outside our control, leaving us vulnerable to disappointment. Imagine someone whose sole focus is climbing the corporate ladder, believing that the next promotion or salary increase will finally make them happy. However, when they achieve their goal, they find themselves longing for even more recognition, more money, more status. This endless cycle of desire prevents them from ever truly finding peace. This is a crucial lesson. The more we chase after external things, money, recognition, luxury, the more we tie our happiness to factors beyond our control. The Stoic path, as Seneca advises, is about simplifying our desires, seeking only what is required for a life of virtue and wisdom. Simplifying our desires. The Stoic path is about simplifying our desires. We focus only on what we truly need for a good life: virtue, wisdom, and the essentials required for survival. By limiting our desires, we free ourselves from the anxiety and frustration that comes with constantly chasing after more. In a world obsessed with consumerism, we're often encouraged to believe that happiness lies in owning the latest gadget or achieving the next career milestone. But Stoicism reminds us that these things are fleeting. True contentment comes from mastering our desires, not being enslaved by them. Consider the minimalist movement, where individuals intentionally reduce their possessions and focus on living more simply. This philosophy closely aligns with Stoicism's teachings on the dangers of unbridled longing. By wanting less, we gain more freedom from the constant pursuit of material goods and the stress that accompanies it. When we do this, we find the real treasures of life: contentment and inner peace waiting within. Excessive desires become a distraction, a mirage of fulfillment. True fulfillment, Stoicism teaches us, comes from mastering our desires and focusing on what truly matters, living a good, virtuous life. Lesson number 6. Be virtuous. Virtue is the essence of Stoicism. The Stoic philosophers Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius all agree that living a virtuous life is the key to inner peace. The Stoic virtues wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance act as moral compasses guiding us through life. Virtue lies at the heart of Stoicism. The Stoics believed that the key to living a good life is to live virtuously. But what exactly does it mean to be virtuous, and why is this so central to Stoic thought? The 4 Stoic virtues. Stoicism is built around 4 cardinal virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These virtues act as guiding principles, helping us navigate life's challenges with grace and integrity. Wisdom. The first virtue is wisdom, which represents the ability to make sound decisions and navigate life using reason. Wisdom helps us differentiate between what is good, bad, and indifferent, allowing us to align our actions with our values. Courage. Courage is the ability to face challenges and adversity without succumbing to fear or despair. It's not the absence of fear, but the strength to act in the face of it. Justice. Justice is about fairness, treating others with kindness and respect, and always acting in a way that is morally upright. The Stoics believed that living in harmony with others was essential to living a good life. Temperance. The final virtue, temperance, is about moderation and self-discipline. By practicing temperance, we avoid excess and maintain balance in all areas of our lives. living according to virtue. Living a virtuous life doesn't mean we're perfect. Instead, it's about striving to embody these virtues every day in our actions, thoughts, and interactions with others. Consider a time when you were faced with a difficult decision. Perhaps you were tempted to take the easy route, but instead, you chose to act with integrity, even though it was harder. In that moment, you were living according to virtue. For the Stoics, virtue was the only true good. While we can't control what happens to us, we can always choose to act virtuously in response. Seneca, despite his immense wealth and political power, consistently reminded himself and others that external success was meaningless without virtue. Lesson number 7. Understand the transitory nature of life. One of the central themes in Marcus Aurelius's Meditations is the recognition of life's fleeting nature. You could leave life right now, he writes. Let that determine what you do and say and think. This reflection on mortality, known as memento mori, is a powerful Stoic practice that helps us keep life in perspective. Marcus Aurelius's Meditations provide timeless wisdom about the fleeting nature of life. One of his most profound insights is the recognition that everything is temporary. Nothing lasts forever, not joy, nor suffering, not success, nor failure. By accepting the transient nature of existence, we cultivate an attitude of detachment, which allows us to remain calm and composed in the face of life's inevitable changes. It doesn't mean we don't appreciate life's pleasures, but rather we recognize that they too are temporary. When you understand that life is constantly changing, you begin to embrace the present moment. You stop chasing after things that do not last and find peace in what is. Why reflect on death? At first glance, reflecting on death may seem morbid, but for the Stoics, it was a way to remind themselves of the preciousness of each moment. By remembering that life is short, we're encouraged to live more fully and appreciate the time we have. Imagine someone who constantly puts off their dreams, thinking they'll have plenty of time to pursue them later. By reflecting on their mortality, they might realize that time is finite, prompting them to take action now rather than waiting for a future that may never come. Letting go of trivial concerns. When we remember that life is temporary, many of the things we worry about seem trivial in comparison. Why waste time stressing over minor inconveniences or the opinions of others when our time is so limited? In our modern world, where we're often bombarded by distractions and endless to-do lists, reflecting on our mortality can help us prioritize what truly matters. By acknowledging the brevity of life, we're able to let go of unnecessary worries and focus on what's most important. Think of someone who spends years working at a job they hate, believing they'll eventually have time to enjoy life once they retire. Reflecting on the transitory nature of life might prompt them to make a change now, pursuing a career that brings them joy and fulfillment. Lesson number 8. Practice gratitude. Gratitude is a core Stoic practice, and Seneca, in particular, wrote extensively on the importance of appreciating what we have. In his letters, Seneca often reminds us that it's not external events that make us unhappy, but our own lack of appreciation for the present moment. Seneca, in his reflections on gratitude, highlights how crucial it is to appreciate what we already have. Often, we spend so much time focusing on what we lack that we forget to cherish the blessings in front of us. Gratitude shifts our focus from lack to abundance, from dissatisfaction to contentment. Seneca reminds us that even in the face of adversity, we can always find something to be grateful for. Why gratitude matters. When we focus on what we lack, we create a mindset of scarcity and dissatisfaction. Stoicism teaches us to shift our focus to the abundance that already exists in our lives. Even in difficult times, there is always something to be grateful for. Gratitude is not just about acknowledging the good times. It's about finding value in our challenges, knowing that they make us stronger and wiser. In doing so, we protect our inner peace, no matter what life brings. Think of a time when you were feeling down, perhaps after a setback or disappointment. By taking a moment to reflect on what you're grateful for, whether it's your health, your loved ones, or simply the fact that you're alive, you can shift your perspective and find peace amidst the challenges. Gratitude in adversity. The Stoics didn't just practice gratitude during the good times. They also found value in adversity, recognizing that challenges often provide the greatest opportunities for growth. By practicing gratitude even in the face of difficulty, we build emotional resilience and maintain a sense of inner calm. Seneca, despite facing exile and political persecution, continued to practice gratitude throughout his life. His letters are filled with reflections on the simple pleasures of life, reminding us that true contentment comes not from external circumstances, but from within. Lesson number 9. The dangers of excessive attachment to material wealth. In a world that glorifies wealth and success, Stoicism provides a refreshing counterpoint. Seneca, in particular, warned against becoming too attached to material possessions, reminding us that true happiness comes from within, not from external wealth. Why wealth isn't the answer. Seneca, despite being one of the wealthiest men of his time, consistently wrote about the dangers of excessive wealth. He believed that the pursuit of material goods often distracts us from living a virtuous life. The more we chase after wealth and status, the more we tie our happiness to things outside our control. Consider someone who spends their entire life chasing after money, believing that once they reach a certain financial goal, they'll finally be happy. But when they achieve their goal, they realize that it wasn't enough. They still feel empty and unfulfilled. This endless cycle of desire is what the Stoics warned against. Finding contentment in simplicity. Stoicism teaches us that true contentment comes not from having more, but from wanting less. By simplifying our desires and focusing on what is essential for a good life, virtue, wisdom, and inner peace, we free ourselves from the anxiety and frustration that comes with constantly chasing after more. The minimalist movement, which has gained popularity in recent years, aligns closely with Stoic teachings. By intentionally reducing their possessions and focusing on what truly matters, minimalists find greater freedom, happiness, and peace. Lesson number 10. Keep learning and growing. For the Stoics, personal growth was a lifelong journey. Epictetus, in particular, emphasized the importance of continuous self-improvement, reminding us that we should always strive to learn and grow, no matter our age or circumstances. Epictetus teaches us that personal growth is a lifelong journey. The Stoic path is not about achieving perfection, but about constantly striving for improvement. Learning doesn't stop when we reach a certain age or attain a certain level of knowledge. It is an ongoing process that enriches our inner world. The importance of lifelong learning. Stoicism teaches that wisdom is not something we achieve overnight, it's something we cultivate over time. Every day is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to become a better version of ourselves. This pursuit of wisdom is central to the Stoic path. Think of someone who, despite reaching the peak of their career, continues to seek out new challenges, whether it's learning a new skill, taking on a new project, or mentoring others. This mindset of continuous growth helps them stay engaged and fulfilled, even as they age. Overcoming adversity through growth. Stoicism also teaches that adversity is often our greatest teacher. When we face challenges, we have the opportunity to learn and grow. Rather than avoiding difficulties, the Stoics encourage us to embrace them, recognizing that they provide valuable lessons and opportunities for self-improvement. The more we grow, the better we become at handling life's challenges. Epictetus encourages us to pursue wisdom as if it were a precious gem, one that requires effort and dedication to attain. By committing to self-improvement, we cultivate a sense of resilience, allowing us to stay calm and composed regardless of what life throws our way. Consider someone who loses their job. Rather than viewing it as a catastrophe, they see it as an opportunity to learn new skills, pursue a different career path, or grow in ways they hadn't anticipated. Epictetus, despite being born a slave, rose to become one of the most influential philosophers of his time. His teachings remind us that no matter our circumstances, we can always strive for growth, wisdom, and self-improvement. In a world filled with distractions, uncertainty, and constant change, the timeless lessons of Stoicism offer a guiding light. These 10 Stoic lessons, from focusing on what we can control to practicing gratitude and living virtuously, provide a foundation for inner peace and emotional resilience. By embodying these principles in our daily lives, we can navigate the storms of existence with grace, wisdom, and unwavering composure. Remember, true peace comes not from the external world, but from within. Life is unpredictable and full of challenges, but Stoicism gives us the tools to navigate it with grace. By embracing what we can control, accepting the rest, and focusing on virtue, we can find lasting peace. Thank you for being a part of this journey. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.